Is your closet killing your magnetism? This episode is gonna nurture my inner Libra because we're gonna talk about clothing, adornments, and how you can use your style and your fashion and the way you dress to activate certain parts of you, like the most orgasmic, pleasurable, embodied, sensual, sexy, turn on version of yourself just through clothing and the way you dress. This is a topic that a lot of people have deemed superficial for such a long time. So it's time that we step into a space today on this episode in which we celebrate it and we completely switch the perspective around it and we actually see it as adorning the goddess within. With that being said, I also want to keep this episode really grounded, very practical, and very down to earth, right? It's not just about dressing like the goddess and everything. We're gonna also see how different textures and fabrics, they impact our energy and how we feel about ourselves. Happy Friday. Welcome back to Full Circle. I'm so happy to have you for this talk. I have my baby Rosie in the background, so if you hear noises, it's just that we have to roll like this today. She usually sleeps at this time, but she isn't sleeping today. So as you know, I'm a full-time mom, full-time entrepreneur, full-time partner, full-time crazy bitch that is doing so many crazy things. So we have to roll with the real raw messy life. Bear with me, but because the topic of today is really fucking juicy. I know for myself, when I grew up, I wanted to be a fashion designer. So I always loved clothing and dressing up. And with my eyes of a child, I was seeing other women, like grown-ups. They were like super feminine and they were wearing high heels. I couldn't wait to grow up and wear high heels. I barely wear high heels today because they're so painful, right? And I love my comfort. That's something else we're gonna talk about today, is how you can find sexiness and comfort, because a lot of what we've been taught about how to dress feminine and sensual is usually very uncomfortable and actually cuts you off from your magnetism and your real sensuality. But again, we're going to talk about this in a minute. For now, I also want to share the background story of what we grew up in. I had my eyes of a little girl and I was seeing my mom and my grandma. They were using makeup and beautiful dresses, high heels, and I was like, I cannot wait to grow up to be able to dress like that. And I always had that attraction to beauty in this way. I never really questioned it when I grew up because it was quite natural. I was seeing beautiful things and I was like the heart in the eye emoji. I would have like sparkle in my eyes, like, wow, this is so beautiful. But then when it was time to dress up by myself, I realized that in order not to be awkward or weirdo or to stand out too much, you had to kind of follow, like, fit in a box. And I know it's not everywhere the same, depending on where you live and your culture and everything. I've traveled to India and they wear like so many colors and beautiful saris. Even the more casual saris that they wear, it's still like usually a lot more colorful than where I grew up in France, for example, where it's always black, gray, and jeans. It's like we don't really have tons of colors, and if you wear something eccentric, you're like, whoa, like everyone looks at you. Also because I come from a very small town, but maybe you can relate to that, where you kind of wanted to wear something, but then you never actually dared to do it because you were so afraid of people criticizing you, judging you, and everything. And so that comes from a desire to belong and to not be rejected and to be part of the tribe. This is something entirely human and normal, but still it's something that kind of prevent us from being that completely unleashed, sexy, I want to say outrageous version of ourselves. The version of ourselves that is daring to do things and to be herself, and that also brings a sense of joy, like this childlike energy of you're excited with something looks beautiful and you just want to live in that energy more. This energy of wanting to conform, of wanting to look a certain way and to stay within that box so that people don't see us a certain way. Because if you think about it, the way we dress impact how we see ourselves, but also how people see us, right? We want to dress professionally. We want to dress sexy. We want to dress casual. We want to dress sporty. Like the way we dress gives off an energy in the world. It's like emitting a frequency. It's kind of a message that we want to like broadcast outside of ourselves. And so I went personally from something that was so natural to be in awe and to be having the heart eyes emoji vibe to looking at beauty, dresses, high heels, like everything that I thought was beautiful, wanting to be a fashion designer, to starting to have to dress myself and understanding that I couldn't really express my full self, that it was better to use the correct same as everyone else because of belonging. And then you never truly escape that, but you end up envying other women that are brave enough to actually wear what they want to wear. And you watch them. Then later in my life, I had to watch them on Instagram. It was the early stages of Instagram, right? When it was just pictures, no reels, no stories. I was watching those women online dressing the way they wanted, or in magazines at the time, or on the TV, or in video clips, like wherever you see other women dressing so like feminine and sexy and out there. And I was like, oh my God, I wish it was me, but like I could fucking never. I feel like I found my style, what feels more authentic, and I'm still like refining it as I go. And I don't every day dressed like a fucking goddess. Like sometimes it's very casual. I still wear the baggy clothes and I still feel like a couch potato. What I think is important to understand in this episode is, what is your background with how you dress? Did you always feel like you could express your true self with joy and femininity and sensuality through the way you show up? Is it something that you deemed superficial so you never really paid attention to? Did you had like a different journey with it? I know I had a very specific journey with it, from really being excited to grow up and be able to wear the little dresses and the high heels and the naked back and off shoulders kind of thing that makes me feel very feminine. But I had that first phase of my life where I was wearing the feminine things. It looked pretty and I would spend hours doing my makeup and my hair and everything just to look pretty, but it didn't feel sensual because I didn't feel comfortable. I was always like pulling on a dress or adjusting something or making sure that I was walking as natural as possible with high heels because it was so painful. And then I flipped entirely and I didn't decide, but I had my spiritual awakening and my style completely changed with it, where I really embodied the hippie within. I was wearing like hippie clothes and baggy clothes, nothing very feminine and sensual, because I was like, oh, people need to take me seriously now because I'm spiritual now. Like I'm deep. Like please respect me because I'm profound. Then I fell in love with a woman, and instead of staying true to my style and what I loved, I actually started to dress like my partner, who had a very tomboy style. So I started to wear more sporty clothes, but not like the sporty, feminine, sexy, sensual that I like, that you would see me in right now, but the more baggy sports. I shaved a side of my hair, even started to wear her snapbacks. Come on. And I look at those photos now and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? But that was part of that journey. And that's why I invite you to reflect on your own journey. Did you change your style kind of because of a partner, or because of society, because of a group of friends? I know growing up, I felt so intimidated to actually wear what I wanted. And then I moved to London and everyone was wearing what they wanted and like no one really cared. And I felt like it was so liberating.
Daddy is home and with the baby it's crazy inside. So I'm going to finish this podcast in my backyard. So what I'm inviting you to do, if you want to unlock new layers of your sensual feminine expression and just feel better about yourself, is to also question your own taste. Do you dress because of how you truly want to dress, or do you dress because of just society and making sure you fit in the box, or because of an image that you want to put out there in the world? And this is the work we do inside my new program Femme Sensuelle, because we have a section on clothing and adornments, because that runs so deep and it has been deemed as superficial and like we shouldn't really care about how we dress and everything, especially in the spiritual world where, this is just surface level things and everything is fine inside yourself. And I'm all for the feminine approach of spirituality, which is very grounded, and it's not like a ascending movement that goes towards enlightenment in the sky and you're flying out there, but it's more of a descending into the body, into the earth, into we are here living a human experience. And so a lot can impact our spirituality, our energy, and the things we're trying to unlock inside of us. So that's why one of my favorite embodiment practice is to play with how I dress, because you will see it and you feel it. I'm sure it's just very basic knowledge, but the way you dress impact how you feel. If you dress in baggy clothes because you're just so lazy, you're not going to feel your most sensual self. And it is possible to feel sensual and beautiful and feminine in all kind of clothing, for fucking sure. But it's also a game that you can have to embody different version of you. Like, how would she dress this next version, most embodied, most feminine, sensual self? But it runs deeper than that, than just that. There is also the energetical imprint in the clothes. What you wear is in contact of your skin and yourself all freaking day. So if you wear something that makes you feel really comfortable in your movement and you can move freely, you're gonna feel a lot more sensual, because sensuality is also found in the movement. Something else is that some of the quote-unquote feminine clothes, like the tiny little dress or the sexy outfits, they're very uncomfortable. And if you feel restricted in your movement, if you feel like you constantly have to pull your clothes or readjust them all the time, this is not going to make you feel very sensual and feminine. Having clothing that you feel extremely good in is a fucking journey too, to find the brands that you want to support and to also feel good in your clothes and to feel beautiful and feminine and comfortable. This is definitely a journey, but that's the journey that I want to invite you in this episode today. This is one of the exploration, one of the way we explore that sensual self, also because your relationship with the fabrics and the different cuts and everything that you come in contact with has a huge impact on your vibration. You may have seen other women wearing the silky dress and the robes or the sexy lingerie or whatever it is for you, maybe something more eccentric and more crazy with colors and everything, that also can make you feel extremely feminine, that childlike energy. Maybe you've seen it on others and you've never really dared to try it yourself. So I'm inviting you to find your style and to play with it, to question what you like and to try things outside of your comfort zone and to see how it impacts your relationship to yourself, to your feminine self, just to be a bit more like brave in the daring, like daring to be a bit more feminine, a bit more sensual today in the way you dress. And if you've always seen other women and felt very envious and want to walk this journey yourself, I do have my online program, Femme Sensuelle, if you want that sensual reset for your body, your femininity, and your turn on. This is a space where you're gonna really reclaim all of your feminine self, all of the feminine principles, all of the sensual principles, your connection to your body, to your yoni, to your femininity, and to your pleasure in such a deep, profound way. But it's also refreshingly grounded because, as I said, I'm a mom, I'm super busy, and I still need to find ways to feel sensual, to feel feminine, to kind of balance out this energy of like, I need to be on all front and I need to work hard and I need to do so many things for myself, my body, my baby, my home, my partner, and everything, but still find ways to embody this wisdom that literally changed my life forever and hopefully will change yours as well. If you do want to grab that, this is in the description. That was kind of a crazy episode. That was a hard episode to record, but I hope that you enjoyed it and I hope that that made you reflect on your own relationship with clothing and how you can see it as a way to honor your body as well. Like, I'm dressing up, I'm adorning the temple, the body temple in which I am in. This is something I wanted to talk about but kind of forgot. But I hope that was an invitation to reflect a little bit more on your relationship with all of that and how you can turn the volume up a little bit on your style, on your exploration, and have fun with it. And obviously share it with me because I love to hear your stories. Have a beautiful rest of your week and I talk to you next Friday. Mwah.